Greetings. Um, Come on back, Eddie. Miss you, buddy. I want to see how far 11 superpowers can go. I'm ready for this next season. But the cast and characters are going to be older by the time this actually hits. But I'm very anxious. Stranger Things. I should have gave you some context. I'm sorry. Today I want to talk to you about something that's happening in my personal life. Uh, just a simple word: choice. So, Viktor Frankl talked a lot about attitudinal heroism. When stripped to the bare essentials of life, which was nothing more than their life. The surviving people at Auschwitz, Dachau, and several other concentration camps that he survived would do these insanely amazing things. Give bread, a piece of stolen bread to someone else who was suffering. Have a kind word or pat on the back or some type of a cigarette or some of their soup to someone else that was suffering, to pick them up in the most cold, bleak, heartbreaking, despair-filled of situations, with nothing left but their bare skin and he called it miserable lives. They still chose to have an attitude of gratefulness toward their lives, in an attitude of service toward other people. I myself get bogged down sometimes in the muck of all the little torments of life, and will get completely anchored down in woe is me, between bills, family, friends, work, natural disasters, the heat. You're just filling yourself with an endless supply of dread. You turn on the television, it's politics and war, all the devastation from the natural disasters, all of this stuff, and you would be very hard pressed to not become part of that worry machine. I had to start looking at things differently. I can't affect a lot of that. So you start breaking it down systematically in your morning meeting, when you wake up in the morning, your strategies to this whole thing. If it's bills, okay, what is my strategy for that? I have this to take care of, this to take care of, this to take care of. I have this resource, and this resource. If I need more money, I have a possibility to do this, this, and this. It'll cost me more money to do this, this, and this. You come up with a plan of attack and you hit the execute button. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you aren't. You have a plan A and a plan B. But you're giving yourself a way out. You're giving yourself a way forward. You're making a choice to not just sit and fester and have this heavy thing weigh in on you and push you further down. Because what ends up happening is, for myself and a lot of people, it weighs you down, and then it starts affecting every facet of your being. And you're the last one to know. The absolute last one to know. I talked about this before. We all pen our own novel. But in our novel, we are never going to pen ourselves as the villain, as the jailer, as the oppressor, but yet and still we are trapped within our own minds. Who is doing that? You'll point the blame, society, my job, the color of my skin, my spouse, the political machine. But I take you back to the concentration camp. Those people experienced freedom when freedom was taken from them. The soul still contains freedom. It's a hard pill to swallow, very hard to hear. It sounds like some SpongeBob-esque optimism, but I think it's something that needs to be talked about today more than anything. I think we've gotten away from the fact that we can do so much. The phone is beautiful. The technology is beautiful. But we get mired down in our own bullshit. Imagine for a second that you start volunteering at a soup kitchen, or you start to volunteer reading to kids, or you start to volunteer picking up trash on the beach. You start your own organization, something like that, that you're just doing something that serves the community. Nobody's paying you for it. Nobody's even gonna thank you for it, but you're just out doing this thing over and over again. It's going to bring you peace and joy. It's one of many outlets that you can combat the darkness with. Well, I don't have time. Make time. We jail ourselves based off of principles that we set for ourselves. If I need to work out, I need to work out. I don't have time. I'm tired. Get up earlier. Hold yourself to a standard and to a place where you are accountable to you. That'll instill discipline. And then from that discipline will come self-worth. From that worth will build value. And with that value, you can stand in the darkness because you know what it takes. But it all comes from a choice. I'm not going to let this thing become me. I'm not going to let this thing, anchor myself down. I'm going to move forward. I might not know how, but I can start. The smallest of movements is all it takes to break out the stone. And once it's broken free, now it can move. But you have to start somewhere. I had to lose the attitude that life owes me something. Life will slap you in the face continuously, over and over and over again, and put you dead in a corner, balled up in fetal position, crying. It owes you nothing. I turned myself the other way and said, what now? You slapped me in the face. You dealt me this messed up hand, but I'm still in the game. I'll play those cards. I'm not looking for an easy way out. I'm not looking for relief. I'm not looking for the cavalry. I'm looking to fight. Because I know the other side. I know the pain of life. Experienced it through and through different times of my life. Whether it be in the military, whether it be from my parents, whether it be from a mentally ill sister, whether it be from myself. I don't want that. Don't want to court that into my life and don't want to sustain it because it just breeds hatred and an inability to move forward. I don't want to get to the end of my life with nothing but hatred toward the time I had on this earth. Looking back like, oh man, if I would have had this and if I could have been that, if I would have, why? go out and do something now. I could spend all of my time waiting for that easy break where I can grow and learn, fighting through the darkness, taking and making what life gives me into what I want it to be, and having that very difficult path stop being difficult and start being something that can just grow upon. But it comes from choice. I always tell new people at my job about someone special that I run into out on my job. This person's in a motorized wheelchair, has use of one arm. Both arms a little bit. But I would always see this person smiling, always stop and chat, very casual conversations about the weather. I'm the master of the 30-second conversation. But the more I saw her, the more I couldn't understand why is she smiling so much. So our relationship grew, and I finally built up the courage to ask her a very intimate question. What is it? What is it about you that makes you smile? You're in this chair. And she says, it's my choice. And I'm complaining about a hurt this or a hurt that. I'm complaining about money, or I'm complaining about this or that. She's in that chair. And she's out here smiling at me. She goes on walks. She does art. She's extremely supportive. One of the most lovely human beings you ever met in your life. And for me, she's taller than I am in stature and in attitudinal heroism, because she should be and could be mad at the world. No one will blame her. Not a single person. But her choice in a moment to choose happiness and choose a positive attitude in spite of what's going on makes you forget that she's in a chair. And like, now I reflect the mirror back on myself. Now, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with me? Damn. I'm choosing wrong. And I had to start shaping myself that way. Sometimes it works. You're not looking for this isn't a panacea. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail hard. But what you're looking for is a start. The failure isn't failure. A failure isn't a start, a stop. Quitting is a stop. The failure is just pointing out what you did wrong, and you need to do something else to fix it. Every day isn't going to be Christmas. Every night is not going to be the 4th of July. You have to accept that. That's life. Now fight. Find somebody in your life that represents that perseverance that you're looking for, that attitudinal heroism. The benefit of seeing that individual in those moments it's priceless, because that individual's soul is on full display, truly golden, truly beautiful. That's just one of many experiences I have. But choice, choose wisely. You have the power of choice, whether you're mired in the darkness or not. You always have the power to choose. Please be the reason somebody smiles today. I challenge you to be the reason somebody smiles today, and enjoy this beautiful day. Until next time, take care.